Hello, boys and girls. Greg from the Scary Spirits podcast here to make you another cocktail. Today we are going to be making the Vodka Blush, which is the featured cocktail in today's episode. Start with a shaker with ice. To that, we're going to add 2.5 ounces vodka. 1 ounce. Two and a half ounces. Next, grenadine, splash, like so. Delicious. Finally, 1.5 ounce fresh lime juice from the plastic lime. So that's 3 teaspoons. 1, 2, 3. And then we shake. We take our champagne glass and we're going to strain into the champagne glass. All right. There we have our vodka blush. And then, if we add a sprig of rosemary, we have a Rosemary's Baby cocktail. Very clever. Yeah. Very vodka-y. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. See ya.
Have you ever heard the phrase, "He has a face only a mother could love"? This week's movie on the Scary Spirits podcast, Rosemary's Baby, takes that phrase to the extreme. Everyone knows there's nothing quite like a mother's love, but this movie really pushes the limits. And if that isn't enough drama for you, we have a lying, good-for-nothing, ambitious husband, Satan worship, and more gaslighting than you can imagine. Rosemary, with her maternal instincts, endures it all and proves a mother's love is unconditional. It's no wonder we have a holiday to celebrate it. Cheers!
Welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast. Please be advised that the presenters may use adult language and/or discuss adult situations. This podcast is not intended for younger listeners or those that may be easily offended. So, if you're ready, let's go.
Hi, I'm Greg.
Hi, I'm Karen.
And welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast, the podcast that combines the two very different but highly compatible worlds of scary films and alcoholic spirits.
What could possibly go wrong?
Indeed. How are you, Karen?
I'm doing great. How are you, Greg?
I'm okay.
Oh no, we're back to okay.
Yes, we
The
are.
peaks and valleys with you, man. The roller coaster ride.
I was on a roll there for a while.
You were.
I'm allowed to have one okay day.
All right. You're allowed to have as many okay days as you want. You be you, Greg.
Okay. Thank you, Karen, for
Validating you.
giving me permission. All right, Karen, I believe this week's film was your choice, was it? Was it not?
It was.
And what film have you chosen for us?
Well, in honor of Mother's Day, we're going to be watching Rosemary's Baby,
Rosemary's Baby.
1968.
Chose this because of Mother's Day?
Yes, I did.
Okay. That makes sense, I guess.
I've never seen it. I've seen bits and pieces. And I thought, well, maybe I've seen the whole thing. And then it started and I was like, nope, have not seen the whole thing. So
I've never seen it. I've never even seen bits and pieces, I don't think. I mean, other than, what you see. Commercials or whatnot. 1968. I was just a little tiny baby, so.
Not me. I was a teenager. Not really. Should we just state right off the bat we don't support Roman Polanski?
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring it up, but if you want to.
But I must say, he's a really good director, but not a great human being, allegedly.
Allegedly. He did plead out, but
it's a well-directed
he basically
film.
admitted it. So what he did. But anyway, but pled to a lesser charge. So I guess it is. Hell, I don't know.
I felt it was easy to watch. It's a long one, guys. It's a very long movie, but it didn't feel that long to me.
Felt long to me.
Okay, well.
Do you have a cocktail, Karen?
I do. Do you have a recipe?
Do you have the recipe, Karen?
Not in front of me. I just realized. It's called a vodka blush.
Oh, it's easy to make, Karen. It's 1.5 ounces of vodka.
I thought it was 2.5.
Oh, you're right.
Okay.
You're right. 2.5 ounces. It is 2.5 ounces of vodka, a dash of grenadine, half an ounce of lime juice, and then a sprig of rosemary.
Well, you put all the ingredients in a shaker, shake them up with ice. It's with ice. Shake it up, get that nice blush color. I think that's why it's called a vodka blush. Pour it into champagne glass and add your sprig of rosemary.
And when you add the sprig of rosemary, does it change it from a vodka blush to a rosemary baby thing or something?
They serve this drink in the movie.
But not with the rosemary.
No. So that's the extra added. I guess it's a rosemary vodka blush.
Yes, I guess that's what it is. But they call it.
But the reason I chose it is because they do drink this in the movie.
All right. Should we give time for a listener to make their vodka blush?
Absolutely.
All right. Hold on. And we're back.
Yes, we are.
All right, Karen, might you have a brief synopsis?
Yes, I do.
Please, Karen, tell me a story.
Rosemary's Baby from 1968. The film follows a young pregnant wife in Manhattan who comes to suspect that her elderly neighbors are members of a satanic cult and are grooming her in order to use her baby for their rituals. It is based on the 1967 novel of the same name by Ira Levin. It's interesting that this movie was made in 1968 and the novel it's based on came out in 1967. That's a pretty quick turnaround.
But the film begins in 1965, Karen, correct?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
For reasons you'll understand later.
Ooh,
or you
will I?
You probably already understand.
Will I? We'll see.
Just saying, somebody fell in love with that book and bought the rights very quickly.
All right. Are we ready to get into it, Karen?
Let's begin.
Did you watch this on Amazon Prime, Karen?
I did.
Okay. First thing that I came up when I was watching was rated R, smoking, alcohol use, nudity, foul language, sexual content, and violence.
All the biggies.
All the good stuff.
Okay. I have no response for that.
Film opens and we have credits. And I wrote New York Central Park ?
It is New York.
It's like an aerial shot
Yeah.
looking down on what we learn is an apartment building. And we see Guy and Rosemary walking in, right?
Do you know what
From
apartment
way
building?
up high.
Yeah.
Is it the Dakota?
It is the Dakota.
I was curious.
The outside is. The inside is not, but the outside is. You want to tell why the Dakota's famous?
Because that's where John Lennon lived and he was shot right outside it.
Yeah. Well, it's an apartment building for the very wealthy. Still is, I think. But as the credits play, there's a lullaby playing over the credits, and it is Mia Farrow singing.
Is it?
She's not singing words. She's just singing la la la's kind of things.
Is it? Is it
I
really
think it
her?
is. I thought I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, it is sung by Mia Farrow. Interesting. So, but we do see Rosemary and Guy, right? Walking down the side, walking into the building from way up high.
That's the couple that.
So basically they walk
characters.
in and they're looking at apartments and they're being shown the apartments. But did you recognize the guy who's showing them the apartment?
No, who is it?
He was in House on Haunted Hill.
Oh, no, I didn't
Remember?
recognize it. No.
He was like the owner of the house.
Oh, okay.
But he'd owned it, but he'd never been there. He inherited it from his brother or something, right?
So he was the one who was afraid.
Yes.
Okay.
So they're looking for apartments, Guy and Rosemary. And they look at an apartment on the 7th floor of a lady who has recently died.
From a coma, or after a coma. You don't die from a coma. After a long coma. She was very old, they say.
And all of her stuff is still in the apartment. Even like things she was writing. Like they show a piece of her writing and it says, I can no longer associate myself. And that's where it stops.
Yes.
Interesting. I thought the guy said that it could be purchased fully furnished, but apparently they don't. Because later we see
he does mention that the son says they can get the furniture at a steal, a really good price, but it doesn't look like they take him up on it.
Right. And then the guy showing the apartment realizes that a secretary, a big, desk thing, right, Karen? Secretary?
Yes, not a administrative assistant.
Right. Has been moved in front of a closet. And they can't figure out why. But they move it back and basically they open the closet and there's just a vacuum cleaner and some towels in there. But they found that very curious.
Yes, you think something exciting is going to be in there and there's nothing exciting in there.
Yes. So Rosemary and Guy decide to take the apartment. Guy is an actor, we should mention.
Yes.
He's the Yamaha man in the commercials, apparently.
Yes. Motorcycles, yes.
And he's been in plays. A couple plays. Luther, right, is one?
I don't know, but she says it every time.
Every time. Yeah.
She's conditioned to talk him up.
So next, Guy and Rosemary are having dinner with their friend Hutch, right, at his place.
Yes.
And Hutch tells them stories about the apartment building, all the terrible things that have happened there, all the kids were eaten.
Yeah, the Trench sisters who cooked and ate children. Adrian Mikado, who practiced witchcraft and conjured up the devil. They said they call it the Black Bramford? The Black Bramford. High incidence of unpleasant happenings.
Next, we see Rosemary and Guy moving their things in. Rosemary finds some shelves in the closet. She finds some wood, boards, and she says, oh, these are shelves. She's quite the Susie Homemaker, too.
She is, yeah.
So next they're sitting on the floor eating dinner because they got no furniture.
Picnic style.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Rosemary is in the mood, Karen.
Yes, she is.
The mood hits her. But something stops him, right? What stops him? There's a
I think
noise.
No, I think they finished the
You
moment.
sure?
Yeah.
Okay. But the last thing I have is Guy makes a joke about the Trench sisters.
Oh.
So I think they hear Roman.
They can hear
Minnie.
they can hear they can hear the neighbors through the wall.
Probably Minnie.
Yeah.
Annoying voice. And I think he makes a joke about maybe it's the Trench sisters. Next, we see them painting and installing wallpaper.
Because it's a
Rosemary is.
montage. It's a montage of them moving in.
Yeah, a moving in montage. But next, Guy's Yamaha commercial comes on.
So she hurries down the ladder.
She drops what she's doing and goes
Yes.
and sits right in front of the 13-inch black and white TV, Karen.
To watch her charming husband. But it looks like she's responsible for getting the apartment ready.
Yes. And Rosemary covers the shelves in the closet with contact paper, and she's making padded seats for the bay window, and she's just doing all kinds of stuff.
She's crafty. Next,
we cut to Rosemary doing laundry, and she meets her neighbor, Terry, who is a young girl, but is staying with the Castavets, Roman and Minnie, right?
Yes.
She says they took her in off the street. She says at first she thought they wanted to bring her in for a sexual thing, but apparently not, she says.
They're doing laundry together. They meet. They talk about how creepy the basement is, and they agree to come down together from now on so that they, be less creepy. Terry does show Rosemary the necklace that Mrs. Castavet gave her, Minnie, and it smells terrible. It's a horribly smelling, it's like a charm. I don't know how to describe it. Like a globe, an empty globe with stinky stuff in it.
Tannis root is what they say is in it.
Yes. But she says they treat her well, the Castavets.
Yeah.
Like her parents, because they don't have children, and so it's like having parents.
But tannis root is a fictional thing, Karen. There's no such thing.
I know.
You were wondering.
I looked it up, wondered what it did, and it is only in this book, in the book, and in the movie. Sounds real.
Yeah, it does. Next, we cut to Rosemary and Guy, and they hear chanting coming from the apartment next door. This is what
They're in bed,
and there's chanting. Next, we cut to Rosemary and Guy coming home after an evening out, I guess. And there's a crowd in front of the apartment building, and they discover that Terry's body is there on the sidewalk in a puddle of blood. Apparently, she jumped out of the window, Karen.
I guess.
She left a suicide note taped to the window, they say. Next, the Castavets arrive, and they verify the identity of the body. And this is where they meet Rosemary and Guy.
They don't seem all that broken up about it, they start to make excuses about how depressed she was and all of that. But Rosemary says, well, she seemed fine, and then they say she has no family, but she told Rosemary that she had a brother in the Navy. So they're kind of being called out as liars a little bit. They're trying to cover it up by her blaming it on Terry. But it's not really clear what happens there.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, besides the fact that she jumped out the window.
Yeah. So next we see Rosemary, and she's dreaming. Is she dreaming about the nun?
I guess. I just
when she was in Catholic school.
Yeah, she dreams about a nun. That was weird. I don't know how that fit into anything. So I just kind of skimmed past it.
I don't either. So next we see Minnie, and she comes over to thank Rosemary for saying the nice things about Terry the previous night.
Yeah, she knocks on the door or rings the doorbell, but I like the shot through the peephole of Minnie. I thought that was a cool thing to do because it makes her look even weirder than she already is. She's a very annoying voice. She wears crazy hats. She's a short little thing, an older woman, but yes.
And very nosy.
Very nosy.
So Minnie starts looking around the apartment.
Yeah, she just invites herself in.
Yeah, she just comes in and starts talking about the furniture and what do you pay for something like that? And whatever, looks at everything that Rosemary has done to it. And then Minnie invites Rosemary and Guy to dinner.
Minnie says she doesn't have any children and asks Rosemary if they do. And Rosemary says no, but they plan to. And then she hopes that she's pregnant soon. And then she invites them for dinner.
So next Guy comes home, and apparently he did not get the part in the play, Karen.
Yeah, he's all Eeyore.
Yeah.
He's bummed.
And Rosemary tells him about the dinner invite, and he really doesn't want to go, but in the end he relents. Yeah, says, yeah, it'll be my good deed for the day, whatever. So next we are cut to the Castavet's apartment, and Roman is serving everyone a vodka blush, Karen.
Yes, tink tink. And he really filled the glasses high. They were big glasses of vodka blushes.
And we learned that Roman has been everywhere. He tells them, name someplace. I've been there.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. He's 79.
Yeah, and they do. Like Guy says, Anchorage, Alaska. He says, yep, I've been to Anchorage. I've been to Juneau. I've been all through Alaska.
Yep, Fairbanks, everywhere.
Yep. And then I guess the Pope is supposed to visit. And so they start talking about the Pope and religion. And
yeah, they start bashing religion, saying the Pope is all theater. So Rosemary was raised Catholic, but doesn't seem to practice anymore. They don't really say if Guy had a religious background, but
no. But Roman does mention that he saw Guy in the play Luther.
Yes, he over compliments him on his acting. He just gushes about it. Some gesture he made or something. That just pulls Guy right in. You know, he's easily pleased by people talking about him.
Next, we see Minnie and Rosemary doing the dishes while Guy and Roman have a smoke. Smoking, Karen.
Yes, the men sit while the women finish up cleaning.
So Guy and Rosemary go back to their apartment, and Guy says that he may go back tomorrow to hear more of Roman's stories.
He says Rosemary doesn't need to go.
Yeah.
Just him.
And Rosemary wonders why they took all their pictures off the walls, which I didn't notice when they were in there.
I didn't either, but she did.
Next, we see Minnie at the door again, and she brings over a neighbor to meet Rosemary. And they make themselves at home and begin knitting.
Yeah, they just sit down and
walk right in, have a seat on the couch.
Minnie's knitting and the other woman is doing needlepoint. I mean, they just sit right down.
And then Minnie gives Rosemary the charm necklace that was Terry's with the tannis root.
Yes, which Rosemary knows was Terry's.
Right. Yeah, it was on her body too when she was laying on the sidewalk in a pool of blood. Rosemary shows Guy the charm when he gets home, and she doesn't not want to wear it, so she takes it off.
Yeah, she says she's not going to. I mean, apparently it stinks.
Yeah, everyone
smells terrible.
Talks about how it stinks.
Yes.
Next, Guy gets a telephone call.
Well, Guy says, no, Guy, I don't like Guy very much. But he says if she took it, she should wear it. He bulldozes her a lot. He guilts her into things, or he makes her, guilts her into it, makes her feel bad until she does what he wants her to do. He pouts. He's a child. So she gives in to him all the time.
But Guy gets a telephone call, and I wrote bad news ? And then I wrote, I think he got the part in the play. And we learned the guy, the actor who originally got the part, has gone blind, Karen.
Donald Bumgard.
Yes, Donald Baumgart
has gone blind.
Yeah. So
Guy gets the part.
Yeah, he says he doesn't like getting it that way, but, he'll take it. Next, Rosemary talks to Hutch. Or she goes to meet Hutch or something. Doesn't she go to his house or something?
Yeah, they're
talks
talking
about how Guy is preoccupied and
he's had all this recent success too.
Doesn't pay much attention to her anymore, and
because he's got so many jobs and so much success, he's not interested in her.
We talk about Terry's suicide, so on and so forth. Rosemary gets back to the apartment, and there's roses everywhere. Guy's butt bunches of roses. And he says he wants to have a baby, Karen. And they put on a cool jazz album.
Well, he
Light
knows
a fire.
Yes, but the thing is, he knows the right time to start. He suspiciously knows which days he needs to, well, they need to make love in order to make a baby.
Well, I mean, she
Usually
doesn't tell Guy this, but she tells Minnie and the other neighbor when they arrive and start doing their needlework that
they were talking about
periods. It's the first day of her period, right?
Yes. So suspiciously, Guy now knows when they need to make a baby, but she doesn't notice that. She's just excited. She's just excited. Most men don't know that because most men don't remember when their wives or girlfriends' periods are. You know, the woman usually knows that. I was suspicious of that. But yes, they put on the sexy music.
And then they're having dinner after they lit the fire and all that, having a romantic dinner, I guess. Shit, I don't know.
Yeah, with candles.
And Minnie comes to the door again. Guy goes to answer it. And apparently she has brought them chocolate mousse, 2 servings.
Yes, pretty big servings.
In cups. Did they have cherries on top?
Looked like, whipped cream and a little cherry, it looked like.
Yeah, I noticed Rosemary took hers off. Like she didn't want the cherry. That's what I would do too. But Rosemary thinks it has a chalky undertaste. And she really doesn't want to eat it, but Guy convinces her.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's a dick. He guilts her into eating it. But she's a little sneaky. She's like a toddler. Yeah.
She asked Guy to go turn the record over because, back in the day, boys and girls, there were record albums. After one side, you had to flip it over and play the other side. But when Guy goes to turn the record over, she dumps the mousse into the napkin in her lap. Next, we see Rosemary. I guess she's cleaning up in the kitchen, and she gets dizzy.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like.
So Guy is watching the Pope at Yankee Stadium. I don't know if you noticed that, but I looked at it. So Pope Paul VI did visit there in 1965.
Yeah.
Lots of popes have gone to Yankee Stadium, but that would have been Pope Paul VI that he was watching.
Okay.
But she's feeling really not good at this point. She was in the kitchen cleaning up because that's what the women have to do. And he's watching TV, but she can't even walk down the hallway.
Guy tells her she had too much to drink, but he carries her to bed and the clock's ticking. Lots of clock ticking in this movie.
Well, she says they have to make a baby. It's the night that she needs. And she says she'll just take a nap. And then it gets weird.
Yeah. She falls asleep and she dreams of being on the water.
Like on a yacht or a boat or something. But it's a nice boat.
And then Guy undresses Rosemary. We see 2 bare breasts, Karen.
Yay, look at that. The breast count is back. Good for you.
And more dreams of being on the water. Well, first she's laying on her mattress on the water. And next she's on the boat on the water.
It says Catholics only on the boat. I don't know who says that, but it was weird.
Someone says
because she sees the Sistine Chapel.
Oh, Hutch can't come. That's why they say Catholics only. Hutch can't come because he was going to come on board, and they say no, he can't. Catholics only. And then she dreams of the Sistine Chapel, like she's up there going to paint it like Michelangelo or whatever. And there's a storm on the boat, and Hutch warns of a typhoon or something. And there's a storm. Next, we see Rosemary surrounded by all the other tenants of the apartment building, and
she's all naked on the boat. Yes, she's hallucinating.
Everybody's nude, Karen.
Old naked people. Everybody's nude. How many bare breasts did you see? I
only saw 2 more that I can make out. It was dark.
And you didn't really want to look at that, did you?
Next, they paint a cross or something on her chest in red.
They chant and paint on her body.
Yeah, and then she's tied to the bed.
Well, and Guy says she can see. She's not all the way out. And because she didn't eat all of the mousse. She only ate a small amount.
Yeah.
Whereas if she'd eaten it all, she would have been completely out. And Minnie says as long as she ate it, she can't hear or see. But she didn't eat it all, so she could hear and see.
Yeah, at one
and
point
they tie her down.
Yeah, and then like I thought Guy turned into a demon.
No,
he seemed to approach her to make the baby.
It wasn't Guy.
But yeah. Well, I couldn't tell. I don't know if she's dreaming, hallucinating, what. But
well, she's not. It's the devil.
That's
appears.
where she says, Rosemary says, this is no dream, this is real.
Yes. And it's creepy hands all over her.
And next there's a priest or a bishop or some shit.
I thought it was the Pope.
Yeah. And she asked, am I forgiven, Father? It was weird. The whole thing was weird.
It's definitely
I couldn't tell if
hallucinating,
dreaming or real or.
No, she was hallucinating, but the devil was real. She was supposed to be all the way out because of the mousse, but because she didn't eat enough of it, she was semi-conscious through this whole thing.
So Rosemary wakes up the next day and she has scratches all over her. And Rosemary tells Guy that she dreamt she was raped by something unhuman.
I don't know if this is before or after that, but Guy takes credit.
He does right here. He says,
which is so gross.
So sorry, I didn't want to miss the opportunity to have the baby.
He says, I already filed down the nails. So sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
So gross. He basically tells her he raped her while she was unconscious.
Yeah, basically.
Because it was sort of fun in a necrophile sort of way.
Yeah, that was weird. It
was just gross. He's so gross.
He just laughs and sorry, honey.
Yeah. And then, they just go about their day.
Yep. So Rosemary takes the dessert dishes back to Minnie. She comes back and she sees Guy practicing walking in crutches because his part in this play that he got is as a cripple. And he apologizes for being preoccupied with his work.
Rosemary asks also why he won't look at her. So apparently he's guilty, which I guess is sort of good.
Next, we see Rosemary at the doctor's office, Karen, and they're taking blood.
Well, they're at breakfast, and Rosemary's looking at the calendar. And this is just another weird thing that Guy says it was due on Friday. So Guy knows when she was supposed to get her period. And she doesn't even know that. She says, oh, really? And then she goes to the doctor and they take blood.
Next, we see the doctor calls Rosemary.
Dr. Hill.
Dr. Hill, played by Charles Grodin. And doctor tells her she's pregnant. And she's due in June. Was it June 28th?
Yes.
That's what I thought, but I didn't think it was important.
The June is.
I think the June is.
Yes.
Yes. They asked her to come back so they can take some more blood for some reason.
Yeah, that was lost on me. It never circled back around either. I don't know if I missed something, but it was strange that they wanted more blood, but they never explained why they wanted it.
Yeah. So Guy comes home and Rosemary tells him they are pregnant. Guy promises to be more attentive. Then he runs off to tell Roman and Minnie.
Minnie or Minnie?
Minnie.
Yeah, that was weird too. She wants a new beginning. She said, let's be kinder to each other. Let's start. This is a new beginning for us. And he's like, great, let me go tell Roman and Minnie. Yeah. She's like, okay.
And then he brings them back to the apartment to celebrate. And here's where they suggest an obstetrician. And Minnie calls and makes an appointment for her right then. They say, go see Dr. Abe
Saperstein.
Apparently he's a well-known, he even delivered like Kutch's grandkids and whatever. So he's legit,
He is.
So
and then they all drink alcohol to a healthy baby.
I know. She drinks alcohol the whole time she's pregnant.
Yes, Rosemary included. I thought that was kind of funny. Clink to a healthy baby.
Yeah, the only thing she doesn't do is, she never smokes in the whole thing, but no, have a Marlboro too while you're at it. So Rosemary's lying in bed next, and she's thinking of names, trying to come up with names. And we hear sirens outside, and Rosemary goes and gets the charm necklace out of her drawer and puts it on for luck, I believe. Right?
That's what it's supposed to be for.
Next, Rosemary goes see Dr. Abe. That's what I call him.
Yeah, and he lays down the law with her.
Yeah. He says, don't take advice from anyone. Don't read any books. Just do what I tell you. Just listen to me.
Yeah.
Call
No
me
books.
day or night.
No talking to friends because all pregnancies are different. No pills. Only use Minnie's daily drink.
Yeah. Herbal, some kind of herbal thing. Next, Rosemary comes home with a new hairdo. Karen, she says she's been to Vidal Sassoon. And she complains of pain in her abdomen.
Well, first guy's a dick and says he hates her hair. I mean, is that necessary? She looks cute. No, he told her it's terrible. The only mistake she's made so far is that haircut. He piles it on.
But he's telling her, like, he's not being mean about it. Like,
yes, he is.
I don't think he is.
I think he totally is. I even wrote it.
He's like telling, like you're telling a friend something like, hey, yeah, I wouldn't wear that, man. Or, you got something in your teeth, man.
No, it's not the same at all. He was a jerk. Right. But she does have sharp pains.
She goes to see the doctor, and the doctor tells her it is normal expansion of the pelvis. Next, Guy and Rosemary are playing Scrabble. Lots of product placement in this film, too, I think. We got Yamaha, we got Vidal Sassoon, now we got Scrabble.
Yep.
And Rosemary says she looks awful. And I wrote, I don't think she's feeling well.
No, she's crying in the bedroom because she's in so much pain. But this is where she comes out and she says, I look awful. And he tells her she looks great. It's the haircut that looks awful. I'm like, that's just so mean. No reason. I mean, she's obviously in pain. So he has to insult her haircut. There are bigger issues here. Help the poor woman. She's sweating. She's losing weight. She has dark rings under her eyes. She's not looking good.
She's lost weight. Yeah. Yeah, she don't look good. Next, we see Rosemary eating a raw steak.
Yep. I think she goes on either side of a pan and eats it.
Yep. That's it. So next, Hutch comes to see Rosemary, and he pretty much tells her she looks like shit too.
Yeah, he thinks
you're gaining weight, not losing weight.
She actually has lost weight.
She says only 3 pounds. She's lost more than 3 pounds.
No, she's looking bad.
So next, Roman comes by to see if Rosemary needs anything. He's going out. Can I get you anything while I'm going out? She says no, but she does bring him in and introduces him to Hutch. And she notices that Roman's ear is pierced.
Well, that's never a good sign, is it, Greg?
And it was his right ear too.
I think it was both of his ears are pierced.
Well, she notices his right ear.
Yeah.
That's the one they focus in on.
Doesn't matter. Any man with pierced ears is just trouble. So can you still put an earring in yours?
Yeah, yes, I can.
Okay, good. Get that feather earring any day now.
And they talk about tannis root. Roman and Hutch do. Hutch has never heard of it, I think. And he said he was going to look it up in his encyclopedias. And
Roman doesn't seem to like Hutch very much. They don't click. I think Hutch is asking a lot of questions that Roman doesn't want him to be asking.
Okay.
And then I guess, I don't know if Roman leaves, but when Hutch leaves, he's missing a glove. He can't find it.
Correct. He can't find his glove. So next, Guy comes home, opens a carton of Pall Malls.
More product placement.
Yeah, that's what my grandmother smoked, Pall Malls.
Nice.
Rosemary tells Guy that Hutch said she looks awful. Next, Hutch calls and wants to meet Rosemary for lunch the next day at the Time Life building, I think, Karen. Isn't that where they are going to meet?
That's where they're supposed to meet.
And Guy leaves to get some ice cream.
She's in pain still. She's in pain.
Yeah.
Again. I mean, the poor woman is sweating, bent over. She's in serious abdominal pain.
Next, we see Rosemary the next day, and she's waiting for Hutch. And apparently it's Christmas time because there's the Santa out there ringing his damn bell.
Well, there's Christmas decorations around.
And Hutch is late. So Rosemary goes in and finds a payphone, Karen, a phone booth. And she calls Hutch, and one of his friends answers and tells Rosemary that he suddenly took ill and is currently in a coma.
A deep coma in the hospital.
And then, what a coincidence, Rosemary runs into Minnie. Minnie was down there doing some Christmas shopping. But Minnie calls a cab and takes her home. She says, I got 2 more weeks. I don't need to buy anything.
She's rough, Minnie. It's like a trucker or something. I don't know how. Tiny little trucker. But yes, and Rosemary looks terrible. She does. Again, she's sweating and in pain.
Next, it's New Year's Eve. And we're at the Castavet's New Year's Eve party. And Roman makes a toast to 1966, the year one.
Yes. The doctor also tells Rosemary again, everything is fine.
And I thought the year one was a reference to, the baby would be born, so it would be its first year. That's what I thought.
It is.
I know.
But it has a little deeper meaning. But that's true.
Next, we see Rosemary eating raw liver, ?
Yes. Yeah, that's what she's doing.
Okay.
Apparently, this baby wants raw meat.
And she sees her reflection in the toaster, and I think she vomits.
Yeah, she freaks out and vomits in the sink.
Next, we see Rosemary, and she's planning a party for their young friends, Karen. She tells Guy that they're going to have a party in 2 weeks for our young friends. No one over 60 is allowed to be.
Right.
And Minnie brings Rosemary her herbal mixture. Rosemary says, I'll drink it later, but she ends up pouring it down the drain.
And Minnie noses around, sees all the food for the party.
And she offers to come help. And she says, nope, don't need your help. We have a bartender, and thanks, but no thanks. Next, we cut to the party, and Rosemary confides in her friends about her pain.
Yeah, for months, since November, and it's past January.
Yep.
So she's been in pain for a while. It's a very lively party because it's young people.
Yeah,
there's mute
pot.
Yeah, there's music, they're smoking, they're talking about Baumgard, or the guy that went blind.
Yeah.
But yeah, she talks to her girlfriends and they say it's crazy.
Yeah, they try to convince her to see another doctor. So next they're cleaning up after the party, picking up all the butts on the floors. People just putting their cools out on the floor.
Apparently, yes. That's young people for you.
And Rosemary tells Guy she's going to go see a new doctor on Monday. She also tells him she is not drinking Minnie's herbal drinks anymore. Guy's not happy and they argue.
Yeah, he calls her friends bitches for telling her the truth.
Yeah, and in the heat of their heated argument, all of a sudden the pain goes away.
Yeah, apparently it starts moving.
Yeah, the baby starts kicking or something.
So he's not, but he doesn't act interested in it at all.
No, he doesn't. She even puts his hand on her belly so he can feel it, and he's like kind of freaked out by it.
Well, yeah, because he knows what it is. But I didn't know. I thought because she was threatening to stop the herbal stuff and go see another doctor, I thought the baby stopped the pain. Because it was like, oh shit, like she's starting to understand what's happening. Something's wrong. So if I stop the pain, I'm
still not. When I was watching this, I was still not convinced what was going on.
She's eating raw meat.
I know, but still,
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. We appreciate you spending time with us. You can help us grow our audience by following us on social media at Scary Spirits Podcast. Just look for us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And don't forget to tell all your friends to find us too. Now let's get back to the show.
So next we see them getting the nursery ready. It's another montage. Karen, is a nursery montage.
Yes, because now that the pain is gone, she's starting to re-drink the stuff from Minnie because she's not in pain. She's not miserable.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she looks
nursery.
a lot better.
Yes.
And she has her suitcase ready for the hospital. And
it's the baby bug out bag.
Yes. Yes, it is.
She has all the stuff in there.
Apparently she's due in 3 weeks. Telephone rings. And I wrote, more bad news, ? And we learn that Hutch is dead. He gone. Next, we cut to the cemetery and Rosemary meets Hutch's family and friends.
She's late because she couldn't get a cab, so it's over, but she introduces herself.
And the lady who called Rosemary, her name is Grace yes. Cardiff, gives her a book that Hutch wanted her to have. And she tells Rosemary that Hutch said the name is an anagram, but he was half out of his mind, so she doesn't know what it means. Right?
Yes, because Rosemary doesn't, the title is an anagram? What? She doesn't, nobody knows.
Don't know. So Minnie brings Rosemary her drink back at the apartment.
We should say the book is wrapped in brown paper.
Yeah.
Because Minnie's trying to nose her way into figuring out what it is.
Right. A buck? Is it a buck? So Minnie leaves and Rosemary opens the book, and it's a book called All Them Witches.
Oh, All of Them Witches or All Them Witches? I thought it was all of.
I wrote All of Them Witches. Yeah. It is All of Them Witches.
So she does something kind of smart. She gets out the Scrabble set to rearrange the letters. Yeah.
Well, she looks at the book and there's some dog-eared pages, right?
Yes.
One of them on Adrian Marcado, who we heard the story about from Hutch earlier. And she starts reading that he was born in Glasgow in 1846 and he was killed outside the apartment building. So then she gets the Scrabble tiles out. She has All of Them Witches. She starts rearranging the letters of that first, right? So she comes up with comes with a fall, elf shot lame witch. How is hell fact me? And then she looks at the book some more and she sees that Adrian's son, Stephen, and it's underlined in the book, right? In the picture. It's a picture of the Marcado family.
Yes.
And Stephen's name is underlined. So then she gets the Scrabble tiles out and rearranges the letters of Stephen Marcado to Roman Castavet, Karen.
Dun, dun, dun.
So Guy comes home and Rosemary tells him who Roman is. Spills just tells him everything. And Rosemary...
She shouldn't be trusting Guy. She's always telling him everything and then he blabs to everybody else.
Rosemary begins to think that Roman is a witch. And Rosemary doesn't want Roman and Minnie anywhere near her or the baby, she says. So Rosemary confides to Dr. Abe, the obstetrician, about the witch thing. And
Guy takes the book from her too, which pissed me off again.
He put it on a bookshelf at this point,
but he takes it away later. He throws it out or whatever. He decides what she can read and what she can't. It's really building up in me that I'm getting more and more pissed at this guy because she has no control over anything. No decisions are hers. None.
See, and once again, at this point, I still wasn't sure that what was happening was really happening, So I kind of looked at it as him protecting her. Okay. She's reading all this stuff and getting crazy ideas about shit,
But he's been a dick the entire movie so far. I mean, he's just been nasty to her.
Okay. But the doctor tells Rosemary that Roman is ill and only has a few months to live. And that Minnie and Roman are going away on a trip. Next thing I have is that Rosemary asks Guy about her book and Guy tells her he threw it away.
Yeah, once again, he's a dick.
Next I have Rosemary's walking in the middle of the street, walking in front of cars. And she drops the charm necklace into a sewer drain and she winds up at the bookstore and she buys books about witchcraft. Do you recognize any of those books, Karen?
No.
Okay.
Of course not, Greg.
Yeah, just curious. And then we have reading to do, Karen, because she's reading a passage and it must be important because the camera is on it. So it says that many people during that time died supposedly natural deaths. Since then, it has been determined that the united mental force of the whole coven could blind, deafen, paralyze, and ultimately kill the chosen victim. The use of a united mental force is sometimes called a coven, which I didn't get because I said coven twice. But whatever.
Yes, they can blind someone,
Yes.
right? And we've heard already that Guy's competition for a part was blinded.
Yes. And then she learns that the coven must need something that belongs to the person. They're going to, use the united mental force to
Yes,
whatever.
a personal possession. Like maybe, I don't know, a glove.
Or a tie.
Well, that comes out later, but
right now it comes out.
She knows that Hutch was missing a glove and he was in a coma and died. So then she starts to investigate.
So Rosemary calls Donald Baumgart. And she just finds out by asking open-ended questions, right? But
yeah, she just says Guy has something of yours. And finally he finally figures out that yes, they switched ties. They switched ties, yeah.
Do you know who plays Donald Baumgart, Karen? Did you read that?
No.
The voice of Donald Baumgart, Karen, is Tony Curtis.
Oh, really?
It is. So yeah, we learned that he and Guy traded ties right before he went blind.
So she's very suspicious at this point.
Yes.
She's starting to put the pieces together. The blindness, the glove, the tie, it's all starting to click in her head.
Yes, apparently. So Rosemary takes her suitcase and goes to see Dr. Hill.
No.
Oh,
Saperstein.
No. Dr.
Yeah.
Abe? Yeah, Dr. Abe.
Yeah.
And while she's in the waiting room, she picks up a Time magazine, Karen, and says, "Is God dead?" ? It was on the cover. And the receptionist, the nurse, comments on Rosemary's perfume.
That she smells good.
Yeah, smells much better than your regular. And she says something about, I wish the doctor would.
Well, she says
that as well. Or
yes,
something.
The receptionist says to Rosemary, "You smell good, better than the regular." And Rosemary says, well, she used to wear this good luck charm that had an awful smell and she threw it away. And the receptionist says, well, maybe the doctor will follow her example.
Yes.
And Rosemary realizes that the doctor has the same necklace smell.
Yeah, the same tannis root smell.
Yes.
So she gets up and leaves. Next, we see Rosemary in a phone booth, and she calls Dr. Hill and leaves a message with his answering service to call her back at the phone booth.
Immediately, because it's an emergency.
Yeah.
And he hasn't seen her since their very first appointment. So,
right, like 9 months ago, 8 months ago.
Yes.
And so Rosemary stays in the phone booth and pretends to use it as people walk up and whatnot. The doctor does eventually call back, and she makes an appointment with the doctor at 8 o'clock in the morning. She kind of tells him there's a plot against her and all this stuff, right?
I don't think she waits. I think 8 o'clock that night, isn't it?
No, is it?
She goes right away.
Yeah. Okay.
But she does sound hysterical. She's talking about witches and plots, and it's crazy. It sounds crazy.
I know. So next, that's what I have. She goes to see the doctor and tells him the whole story, all about the witches. And I wrote, she sounds like a nut.
She does say that Guy made a deal for success. And she sounds like an absolute nut.
And I thought she was a nut. Still, I'm not sure that this isn't all in her head at this point. I'm thinking, I'm waiting for the end of the movie to be like her. It's all in her head. And it's like
she goes to the psych ward.
Yeah. He mentions it earlier or later, like prepartum crazies or some shit,
But she says the coven wants her baby. She know it sounds crazy. And the doc pretends to believe her.
Yeah, I wrote, the doctor seems to believe her. And he
he's
asked
going
if
to
she
get
would
her in the
like to go.
hospital.
Yeah. Mount Sinai that
Gonna
evening.
take her there right away. And he says, just lay down and rest.
Just lay down and rest, and we'll get a room ready for you.
And she goes to sleep, and she dreams happy dreams.
Dreams of her baby and her friends. She wakes to Guy and Dr. Abe walking in. Dr. Abe tells her not to make a scene, otherwise he would be forced to put her into a mental hospital.
Yeah, if she mentions witchcraft again, she's going into the mental institution.
So they get back to the apartment building, and right before they go in the elevator, she empties her purse. She drops her everything in her purse on the floor.
She just drops it, yeah.
And Guy and Abe and even the elevator guy come out to try to help her pick shit up. And when they do, she jumps in the elevator and takes it up. And she gets to the apartment before them and locks them out. So next, Rosemary calls and leaves a message for her friend to call her back.
She's yelling that he promised them the baby. So she thinks they're going to use the baby in their satanic rituals.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she thinks at this point.
And while Rosemary's on the phone, we see Guy and the others in the background sneaking around.
So they came through the closet? Is that how they got there?
I don't know.
I think that's why the secretary was against the closet, because I think they could get in and out that way. Yeah. That's why the previous owner had put it there, because they just came in.
Yeah, they come in, they hold her down while Dr. Abe gives her a sedative.
He has a big old needle.
And just then Rosemary goes into labor.
Even though she's sedated.
Yeah. And her friend calls back. Guy answers and tells her that Rosemary isn't there. Goodbye. So next we see Rosemary waking up, and Guy tells her, "It's a boy, Mrs. Woodhouse. It's a boy." And he tells her that the baby's fine.
She goes to sleep.
Next we see her waking up, and she asks where the baby is. There's a lady sitting there with her.
Yeah.
And she says, I'll go get Dr. Abe. So Guy and Dr. Abe come in and tell her that the baby died. There were complications.
Which is terrible.
She thinks they're lying and that they are witches. And they give her another shot.
As you do. If the woman's getting all hysterical, give her a shot.
Next, she wakes up again, and Guy tells her she had the prepartum crazies. Guy tells her that they're going to move to Hollywood and have a house in the hills, and life's going to be good. And they can have more kids. They can do it again.
But he talks mostly about his career and how he's going to go get famous.
And then Rosemary asks to see his left shoulder. What the hell is that all about?
I think in one of the books she read that if you're in the coven, you get a mark, because he started wearing pajamas all the time when he didn't used to do that. So she thought he was covering up the mark.
But he shows her, and he's got nothing.
He's very unfeeling about their loss. I mean, this was a full-term pregnancy, and he just is like, okay, let's go to California. I'm going to be famous.
I like Guy a lot better than you do, I think. You don't like him at all.
Not a bit. Not even a tiny little bit.
So next, Rosemary's watching the news and about a heat wave, and she hears a baby crying. So she turns off the news and the air conditioning and listens. And just then the other lady comes in to give her pills, but she refuses to take them. She hides them. So
yeah, she stops taking them. Yeah.
And I saw the thing there, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Then I wrote, is she giving them breast milk? ?
Yeah, they're pumping the breast milk.
Okay, whatever.
Well, it apparently, I don't know, but apparently if you don't pump, because she's full-term pregnancy.
Oh, so you have to.
It would be painful otherwise.
All right, that makes sense, I guess. And then like one of the new tenants has a baby, Guy tells her or something, or she asked.
She asks what they do with the milk, and the woman says they throw it away. Yeah, and then
Guy comes in and talks about some new tenants that moved in and Rosemary
that have a baby.
If they have a baby. And he says, yeah, how do you know? Because I could hear it. So next we see Rosemary removing the shelves from the linen closet.
And she finds a keyhole in the closet, ? I wrote.
Yeah, there's a door
So
there,
apparently there's a door
that she never noticed before.
never noticed before.
I guess.
Whatever. Then she goes into the kitchen and grabs a butcher knife. And Guy comes home and she runs and hides.
I think he gets ice and leaves.
Yeah, like an ice bucket, like a hotel ice bucket or some shit. Big parties up at the Castavets. He leaves and she goes through the closet into an adjoining apartment, ? I wrote.
Yes.
And here's where I'm starting to think, wow, maybe this shit is really real. Because like I said, up until this point, I was like, there's going to be like this switch at the end where none of it's real. Like she was all like it was all I said, dream. Pre-partum, nutty, lots of suggestion and whatever. So she goes in and
she does notice the pictures.
Yeah.
Okay, so they've rehung the pictures on the walls now, and they're all like
they're nice. They're good, nice pictures.
Hell pictures, fallen angel pictures.
Is that what they were?
Yeah.
I thought they were very, artfully done, and I'd hang those in my house.
Don't you already?
I have a few.
In the downstairs.
Well, in the garage mostly, Karen. But anyway, she's at Roman and Minnie's.
Minnie's. You keep calling her Minnie.
I don't know.
She is mean. She is mean, but she's not a meanie. She's a Minnie.
Minnie. But anyway, there's a black crib.
So she goes in. She's got
with
the
an
butcher
upside down
knife.
Cross hanging above it.
Yes, I saw that. But she goes in with the butcher knife, like a policeman holds a flashlight. It's up. It's up and ready to go.
And everyone just sits and watches.
They all just stare at her. Nobody even moves towards her.
No, they don't. It's weird.
It is weird.
So she goes to look at the baby and she says, "Oh, what have you done to his eyes?" And this is Roman says, "He has his father's eyes."
And everyone's just calm. They're all just sitting there. Did you notice Guy is hiding his face from her in the background? He won't look at her.
And this is where Roman tells her that his father is Satan. And everybody says, "Hail Satan! Hail Satan!" Because
she says Guy's eyes aren't like that. Guy's eyes are normal. And then, yes, they all get to yell.
Even the old lady from Andy Griffith's show says, "Hail Satan!"
His name is Adrian, and he will wreak vengeance.
So named him after his father, or after Roman's father, right?
And Rosemary screams, "No!"
Rosemary drops the knife and it sticks in the floor.
Straight up.
And next I have is God is dead. Hail Satan, year one.
The year is one. So what year and what month was the baby born, Greg?
He was born in the 6th month of 1966.
So yes, it's year one and it's 666.
So everybody else just goes about the party. I don't know.
Yeah, that's okay. The drama's over. Let's drink.
Roman comes over and he asks Rosemary to be a mother to the baby. It is your baby. You should be the mother. Tells her she doesn't have to join the coven or whatever the hell it is if she doesn't want to. But the other women are too old and the baby needs a mother. Right?
Rosemary's just crying.
And Guy comes up and says, they were never going to hurt you and they're getting so much in return. And she spits in his face.
Well, because here's what he actually says. They promised me you wouldn't be hurt.
Yes.
And then he says, and I wrote this in capital letters, and you haven't been, not really.
Yes.
And he says, we are getting so much in return. So he says, you haven't been. She was drugged, raped, in pain for months, gaslit, told her baby was dead. And he's like, well, you haven't really been hurt.
It's just like it's died, just like it died.
I mean, but drugged, raped, in pain for months, lied to, gaslit, the whole deal. And he's like, oh, it's fine. you haven't really been hurt. I just like threw my pen in the air. I was like,
Were you pleased when she spit in his face, though?
Yes, I was. And then Minnie just brings her tea.
Yeah. There's nothing in it. It's just Lipton. Just drink
I know. Another product placement. But would you drink anything Minnie gave you?
Hell no. I might have thrown it in her face. Well, I probably wouldn't. But if I was Rosemary, I probably would.
The baby cries.
Yes, baby cries. Ladies over there rocking it.
Like she wants to try to throw it across the room.
Rosemary tells her, you're rocking it too hard, too fast. And then Roman convinces Rosemary to rock him. And here's where I made a note that Roman is a snazzy dresser.
He is.
I like his wardrobe.
Rosemary is too, actually. She has a lot of nice outfits in this. Very 60s, but she looks good.
So next, Rosemary smiles as she rocks the baby.
She falls in love with the baby.
And then there's the same haunting lullaby from the opening credits I wrote. And we see the exact same scene, even with them walking into the apartment building. Credits, the end.
We should say that when she does look at the baby the first time, you do see a flash of the same eyes she saw in her hallucination, the red.
I didn't.
I did.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's in there.
I did not see
if you
that.
blink, you miss it. It's in there. She sees it. She sees the same. It's the same scene. It's the same eyes.
Okay.
That's why she says, "What have you done to his eyes?"
Yeah, I didn't see that at all.
So it's definitely a devil baby. But she falls in love. It's a mother's love.
Okay.
Happy Mother's Day. It's a face only a mother could love.
Yes, to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day from the Scary Spirits podcast. Sit down with your family and watch Rosemary's Baby to celebrate.
I tell you what, there was no sequel to this movie that I know of.
There was not.
But if I wrote a sequel.
Well, there was a series though.
Yes. But if I wrote the sequel, because she falls in love with the baby, it implies she's going to raise the baby.
Yes.
So I think she should become queen of the underworld and destroy Guy and all those motherfuckers in the room. Because they lied to her. They took advantage of her. And all of that. And now she's going to take care of the baby. I would wipe them all out. Be like, well, sorry, you're done. Like in Ready or Not. Just have them start exploding all over the place. He really pissed me off in this movie. Why do you think Terry jumped out the window?
Don't know.
Do you think they tried to do this to her? They tried to impregnate her and she wigged out, or
I don't know.
Or she didn't get pregnant and so they got rid of her, or
don't know. That did occur to me. Like, yeah, she was unable to have children or something,
And they
had their little united mental force thing and kind of forced her.
Yeah, but why? Like,
I don't know.
Did she wig out? Maybe she couldn't take the pain if she was pregnant, or I don't know.
Maybe
it's a loose end to me. I would like to know why that happened.
Maybe the book says.
Maybe.
All right, Karen. Anything you enjoyed or were pleasantly surprised by in this film?
I thought Mia Farrow was excellent. I thought she really convinced you of all the different emotions she had to have through that whole thing. I liked her a lot in the movie. Her act, I don't know her of her work obviously I don't know her, but I don't know her work very well. I don't really know a lot of things she's been in, but I was impressed with her acting ability for sure. I thought it was well directed. Like I said, it did not seem over 2 hours to me. But I wasn't in a rush. Well, that's because you were trying to watch it really quick this morning. I liked it a lot. I thought it was going to be really boring, and I didn't think it was at all. What about you? Did you like anything about it?
It was fine. Yeah. But like I said, up until the very end, I kept waiting for the twist. The twist, yeah.
And you were on the wrong side of the twist.
Yeah, I was.
But did you like that about it? Did you like that it was different than you expected?
I don't know.
Did you like anything about it?
Well, acting was good. I'll say that. It did jump around a lot. I don't know if that's good or not, but no, probably not. I liked some of the
Hail Satan parts.
Hail Satan parts, and I liked that it was 66, and she was in the 6th month of 66 due.
I did look up the Church of Satan, which I'm sure dinged my computer.
I liked Roman.
I liked him more than I liked Minnie.
No, she won an Oscar for this.
Yeah, but she's convincing as the nosy neighbor, don't you think?
Yeah, she is.
I think the most annoying thing was Guy. I just hated him. He sold her out for himself. It really pissed me off. Look what he put her through just so he could get acting jobs. Like, that's just shitty. I don't like that.
Okay. So are we on to what you didn't like?
That was what I didn't like.
You didn't like Guy?
Well, but I think that's exactly how I was supposed to feel. So he did a good job. I think that's how women, I don't know if men would feel about it the same way, but she has no choices at all. She, as the female in this film, she makes no decisions for herself. It's very frustrating to watch that. She never stands up to him. He takes things away from her like she's a child.
Yes, she does. She says we're having a party and no one.
Oh, wow. She gets
over
to have
60
a party.
allowed.
You have a long list of what you didn't like?
I did like the whole anagram thing with the Scrabble. That was cool. I don't know. Like
you
I said,
got to see some bare breasts.
Yeah, I got to see two multiple times.
Yeah, there was some close-ups there on the boat. Some lingering shots.
It jumped around a lot. I didn't think it needed to be 2.5 hours long, or 2 hours and 16 minutes, or whatever it is. I didn't like that there wasn't a twist at the end. It's pretty much what they tell you it is. That's what it is, right?
Well, I don't think people who saw it.
Right. I mean, when it was brand new in the theater, that's different.
But now we know because it's been around forever.
How long has it been around, Karen?
For fucking ever. It's old as dirt, just like we are.
Yeah, which is, I mean, I would have liked to seen the twist at the end, but I guess they didn't do that.
I don't know. I liked it. I think you're crazy. I think it's one of the best ones we've watched.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We might have our first real disagreement on how many cocktails.
Maybe. All right. What kind of cocktail rating you want to give it?
I'd give it a 2.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to a 2.
I'd give it a 1.5 if I could, but I'll give it a 2.
If you give it a 1.5, that's a 2.
I know.
We don't do any halves except for a half. That's the only one we do. And we haven't done that one yet, have we?
If we didn't do it for
Psycho a 1.
Yeah. And that was just to enjoy while we watched it.
Okay. 2 cocktails, right? What do you think of your vodka blush or whatever it is?
It's okay. It's good.
Something about it I don't like.
Well, I used citrus vodka by mistake. I grabbed the wrong one.
I think it's the lime.
It's all citrusy to me. It's a very citrusy drink. I could use a little sweetness. I like, a sweeter drink. Certainly easy to make.
Yeah, it is. Could be the rosemary though.
No,
yeah.
The smell.
Well, it kind of tastes like it smells, I don't know. Lime and the rosemary. Not my favorite. Obvious by how much I have left, Karen.
Yeah, you do have a fair amount left. Usually it's gone by now.
Oh.
You can do it. Come on.
It's not the worst thing we've had, but
this was just a disappointment all around for you today.
All right. Anything we learned today watching this film?
Well, we learned they used the exterior shots of the Dakota.
Yep.
Other than that, it was pretty straightforward.
It was.
Canis Root isn't real.
Nope.
Which I thought was pretty impressive because it sounds sounds completely real.
I know. I was totally going to look that shit up.
I know. I did look that shit up. I was thinking, ooh, I wonder what that does. We learned the movie was based on the book.
Yeah.
And I bet it's pretty close.
Some point, Karen, we're going to do The Omen. The Omen is a much better satanic baby film than this.
Well, that's because the baby gets to be in it.
And something else I didn't like. Exactly. I didn't see the baby. I wanted to see the baby, damn it.
They show the eyes, and then
I didn't see that.
One of the women says, look at its feet.
Yeah, they talk about his feet and his hands.
Yeah, because his feet are hooves.
Didn't see it.
Well, it was 1968.
All right. Well, I was upset I didn't see the baby. I sat through this 2 hour and 15 minutes and didn't even get to see the baby. I would have been happy with a sonogram, or what was that? What the things are called?
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't. Well, yeah, then she would have known if she looked at it. A sonogram, yes.
Well, they could.
Did they have those in 1968?
Karen, I don't know. Hell, I wasn't born yet.
Lies.
Too young for this movie.
You're such a liar.
Yeah, I learned that Mia Farrow sung the song. I didn't know that, but that is true. I looked it up.
No, so it says 1950s, the sonogram or ultrasound. Sorry.
Ultrasound. Yeah.
Yeah,
See?
we're wrong. It's an ultrasound.
You're listening. You're taking my word for it, Karen, what it's called.
1956. I don't think it was used on the regular because most people didn't know what they were having back in the day.
It's true.
I know some people choose not to know, but I don't think they were used as often as they are now. They probably didn't have the machines.
Probably not everywhere. I probably only used them in like high risk situations. Just
I
to
would
be sure
imagine.
the
Or if something
cords
happened. Yeah.
not wrapped around its baby's neck, or it's a breech or whatever. You know what I mean?
Or they're bleeding and they need to know what's going on.
I learned that Tony Curtis was the voice of Donald Baumgart. Anything else we learned?
I don't think so. Not you already know all that satanic crap.
Did you make out any of the Latin they were saying, Karen, during the chants?
Nope.
Nope. Couldn't make any of it out.
Nope. Not repeating any of that.
Okay, I forgot to ask you at the time. I should have.
We've been over this. Not repeating any Latin that has anything to do with satanic stuff.
All right. Are we ready to move on to next week?
Yeah, what do you got?
Oh, it's my
your choice.
Is it my choice, Karen?
Yes, you've complained enough about this one. Let's move on and pick one that you'll like.
Well, we'll see.
Oh, so you haven't seen it.
So I'm going to do a little something different.
Oh, no.
Next week, Karen, we are going to watch the 1981 made-for-TV horror film, Dark Night of the Scarecrow.
Okay. Why are we going to watch that?
Well, Karen, so apparently they just made a Dark Night of the Scarecrow 2.
How would you even know that?
And it came out yesterday. And I feel like this is one of those films that does not need a sequel. And it's not even really a sequel. It's like kind of imagining, I think, of the original. You know what I mean?
No.
Well, okay, we'll take my word for it. So I think we should watch the original.
How do you even know that this is happening? It's a made-for-TV movie from 1981.
Karen, I have my thumb on the pulse.
Okay.
Of all things horror. Here, can I read you something, Karen?
Please do, Greg.
Okay. This is from bloodydisgusting.com. Originally airing in 1981, Frank de Felita's Dark Night of the Scarecrow is considered one of the better made-for-TV horror movies. And now Dark Night of the Scarecrow 2 is on the way. Interesting of note, Dark Night of the Scarecrow 2 was directed by J.D. Feigelson, the writer of the original movie. He also wrote the Wes Craven TV movie Chiller in 1985. So basically, it goes on to tell, kind of what the film's about. And it's basically a reimagining of the original. It says, watch for the Dark Knight of the Scarecrow 2 trailer and grab it on
So
Blu-ray
why isn't
May
it just a
10th.
remake instead of a sequel? I'm not following.
Because that's what they do. I don't know.
All right. Where do you find this? Is it on Amazon?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't know that made for TV movies were on Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
But
So
that means
this
I
movie
have to
stuck
watch
with me
both.
somehow from 1981.
Obviously. Did you watch it at home? You must have.
I must have. Because I would think about it, I'm like, what was that movie called? What was that one movie with the Scarecrow? What was that one movie?
There's probably a lot with the Scarecrow, aren't there?
Well, sometimes I think I get this one and Dr. Sin confused, which was a Disney film. Remember Dr. Sin, the Disney film?
No.
It's not a horror film, but it's more of a historical drama. But
does it have a Scarecrow?
Yeah, the
okay.
guys are like raiders, like rebels, like Revolutionary War rebels or some shit, and they dress like scarecrows.
Oh.
But anyway, this movie stuck with me for some reason.
All right. Well, what am I drinking?
Oh, well, I do have a drink, Karen.
Of course you do.
We're going to have a Scarecrow cocktail. We're going to need vanilla vodka, creme de cacao, butterscotch schnapps, orange juice, cocoa powder, and candy corn.
Ooh, candy corn. How are we going to find that?
I don't know. But that's just for the garnish, though.
Oh, okay. Cocoa powder, like unsweetened cocoa powder? Like
same stuff they make like hot chocolate mix. Whatever.
Oh, wait, that's sweetened.
Mix. Whatever. It's just, you just rim the glass with that.
Oh, okay.
I found that on Secret of the Booze, Karen, YouTube channel.
Nice.
It's really a drink for the DC character, the Scarecrow.
Oh.
Whatever. It fits.
It works.
Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, Karen.
Can't wait. Is it going to have commercials so I can get up and walk around because it's a TV movie?
I don't think so, Karen.
Oh, okay. Hurry, it's back on.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I can see that.
I can't wait to talk about it.
Okay. Never heard of it, so.
I don't know, you may be surprised. You may watch it say, oh, I remember this.
Maybe.
I watched it at so-and-so slumber party.
I don't think I was at a slumber party in 81.
You don't?
Probably in somebody's basement somewhere.
81? We were just young kids, Karen.
Yeah, babies.
Or at least I was. Anyone you need to thank this week, Karen?
Thank all our listeners for sticking with us.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for spending your time with us.
Yeah, thank you. And if you've seen it on our social medias, take our survey.
Oh, yeah. We have a survey out. Follow us, subscribe, like, leave a review. What else?
Email us. info@scaryspirits.com. Tell us what we get right, what we get wrong. Thoughts on Dark Knight of the Scarecrow.
Where you were when you saw for the first time Dark Knight of the Scarecrow.
And thoughts on Dark Knight of the Scarecrow 2. Does there really need to be a Dark Knight of the Scarecrow 2, people? Seriously.
Where were you when you saw the reimagining of Dark Knight of the Scarecrow?
It is a reimagining.
I've heard
it's not really a sequel.
No, I've heard it's not really a sequel. It's kind of a reimagining.
From what I've read.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Who are you going to thank, Greg?
No, I do need to thank the band Verse 13, though, for letting us use their music in the podcast. All music on the Scary Spirits podcast is provided by the band Verse 13.
Music makes the podcast better, for sure.
It does, Karen.
Before we go, we have an exciting announcement. We're trying something new. We're adding an informational interview format show to the Scary Spirits podcast called Wicked Ramblings. We'll talk to people about subjects we find entertaining and interesting.
What's our first episode going to cover, Karen?
Well, Greg, Our first episode is going to cover the exciting world of ghost hunting.
Ghost hunting, you say?
Yes, we have a surprise special guest talking about ghost hunting.
I assume someone who's experienced at hunting ghosts and spirits.
You're so smart.
When are these coming out, Karen?
You can find it on the Scary Spirits site starting May 15th.
Yeah, I think we're planning to do this like a monthly show. So should probably, I guess we'll drop the third Sunday of every month.
We're just going to cover things that we find fun and interesting, and we think that our listener will think is fun and interesting also.
Excellent.
So look for the Scary Spirits Podcast presents Wicked Ramblings on all our platforms starting May 15th.
Anything else, Karen?
Please drink responsibly.
Yes.
Hey, it's Karen, and I'm here to talk to you about getting social with us. Did you know you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Scary Spirits Podcast? Or check out our website, scaryspirits.com. If you have something to say, email us at info@scaryspirits.com. And as always, thanks so much for listening. Please drink responsibly.